Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be looking at the internet, but not in the way you might be used to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be talking about, cat videos or going viral or, celebrity gossip.
Right.
We're really going deep into the darker side of the internet based on this research that you provided.
Yeah.
Like, what if the internet isn't really connecting us like we all think it is? What if it's actually being used to divide us and to control us?
Oh, wow.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we'll be diving into today.
Well, you've got some seriously thought-provoking stuff here.
Yeah.
It really paints a pretty unsettling picture of the internet.
Yeah, and a lot of people think of the internet as this big open space.
Right.
Where anyone can connect with anyone else.
Yeah.
But what if it's actually more like a game?
A game.
Yeah, like a carefully constructed game that's rigged in favor of certain players.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and one of the first things that really jumped out at me from the research was this idea of a two-tiered internet.
Oh, two-tiered internet.
Yeah, so we always hear about the internet being this great equalizer.
Right. Everyone has access to the same information.
Exactly. But some of this research suggests that's not really true. It's like there are two different internets running side by side.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Explain that.
Okay, so think about it like this. Imagine a dissident, someone who's critical of the government. Right.
Okay.
They're trying to find information online.
Okay.
But they might really struggle to find anything relevant or up to date.
Like the internet's deliberately making it difficult for them.
Yeah. It's like the internet is deliberately hiding information from them.
It's kind of like that scene in The Matrix, where Neo's trying to escape the agents and the whole world around him starts to distort and disappear.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like the internet itself is becoming this kind of fluid reality that can be manipulated and controlled by those in power.
Yeah. And at the same time, someone with more power, maybe a high-ranking official, they search for the same thing and boom, they get instant access to exactly what they need.
Wow.
Tailored results, curated information.
Yeah.
It's like they're in the VIP lane on the information superhighway.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just about access to information. It's about access to the right information.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder what else is being filtered and manipulated behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's like there's a whole hidden layer of the internet that most people aren't even aware of.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten weird discrepancies in your own search results?
Oh, all the time. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, why am I seeing this? This isn't even relevant to what I'm looking for.
It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah, and the source goes on to say that this two-tiered system isn't just limited to search engines.
Oh, really?
It extends into the economic realm, too.
In the economic realm.
Yeah.
So we're talking money now, right?
Money, exactly. The source is saying that algorithms are being used to personalize things like discounts and promotions.
Okay.
Even things like dating app matches, all based on your perceived social standing.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me the internet's deciding who gets a good deal on a flight based on their social status?
Yeah, and who sees certain ads.
Yeah,
It's kind of messed up, right?
Yeah, it's like a hidden caste system operating in the digital world.
It is. It really feels unfair.
Absolutely, and the source gets even more into this.
Oh, yeah.
There's this passage about military officials and government employees getting exclusive coupons and special treatment,
What?
like crazy discounts on travel and hotels, 90% off.
90% off.
Yeah, stuff regular people wouldn't even know about.
It's like a secret economy running parallel to the one we're all stuck with.
Exactly. It's no wonder so many people feel like the system's rigged against them.
Right. And that brings us to another disturbing concept the source talks about.
Okay.
The death of online entrepreneurship.
The death of online entrepreneurship. What do you mean by that?
Remember when we all thought the internet was going to be this great level playing field?
Yeah. Anyone could start a business.
Exactly. Anyone could find an audience, be their own boss, work from anywhere.
Right. The whole digital nomad dream.
Yeah. What happened to that?
Good question.
Well, the source is saying the dream is fading fast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, platforms like YouTube, which were once like these havens for independent creators,
Yeah.
they're now being dominated by big corporations.
So it's harder for the little guy to break through.
That's what the source is saying.
Yeah.
The internet is becoming less about innovation and more about who has the most money and the most power.
Right. It's like the old gatekeepers have just moved online.
Exactly. And the source actually talks about algorithmic manipulation.
Algorithmic manipulation.
Yeah, like they're being used to suppress independent creators to make sure that only certain voices get amplified.
So they're controlling what we see and what we don't see.
Yeah, it mentions things like shadow bans,
Shadow bans.
where your content is hidden from potential viewers without you even knowing it,
Oh, wow, that's sneaky.
and demonetization,
Demonetization, yeah.
where you're basically prevented from earning money from your work.
So they're silencing people and cutting off their income?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to control the narrative and make sure that only certain voices are heard.
It's like a digital version of censorship.
It is, and it's happening on a massive scale.
And it's not just content creation either.
No.
The source also points out that the gig economy, all those online platforms for freelancers,
Right.
they're being designed to limit economic mobility.
It's like the internet's becoming this digital company store.
Exactly. Keeping people trapped in a cycle of work with no real chance of advancement.
So instead of being this liberating force, the internet's actually becoming another tool for control and exploitation.
That's the dark side this research is revealing.
It's pretty frightening stuff. And it gets even more concerning when we start talking about artificial intelligence.
AI. Okay, now we're getting into some real sci-fi territory.
It might sound like science fiction, but the source makes a chilling argument. AI could be the ultimate enforcer of control.
The ultimate enforcer of control. Wow, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it's like all those traditional methods of censorship and surveillance.
Yeah.
They're going to look like child's play compared to what AI can do.
Oh, wow. So AI is like the next level of control.
Exactly.
Okay, I got to hear more about this.
Well, the source describes how AI-powered algorithms
Okay.
can be used to monitor online activity,
Uh-huh.
flag dissenting opinions,
Okay.
and even predict behavior.
Fritz behavior.
Yeah, to prevent people from stepping out of line.
So it's like having a digital overlord constantly watching your every move.
Yeah, and ready to intervene if you stray from the approved narrative.
That's creepy.
It is, right? It's like something out of a dystopian novel.
It is like, it's Big Brother on steroids.
And the source even uses this image of our smartphones,
Okay.
powered by AI becoming tools of surveillance and control.
Our own phones being used against us? That's messed up.
It is. It's kind of like a Trojan horse.
Right. Yeah. We invite these devices into our lives because they're supposed to make things easier, more convenient.
Right.
But they could actually be used to track our every move.
Yeah.
Manipulate our thoughts, control our behavior.
And we might not even realize it's happening.
Right. It's like this silent invasion of our privacy.
It's creepy to think that something designed to connect us
Yeah.
could be used to limit our freedom in such a subtle way.
Yeah, it's like a slow drip of poison.
Right. It's not like they're these like literal robot overlords patrolling the streets, you know.
No, it's much more insidious than that.
It's all happening behind the scenes in the code and the algorithms that most people don't even understand.
Right. It's like this invisible web of control that's being woven around us.
And this source argues that one of the most insidious aspects of AI is its ability to shape public perception.
Shape public perception. How so?
Well, it's not just about blocking access to information anymore. It's about controlling the very information that we see in the first place.
Oh, wow. So they're not just censoring information, they're actively shaping the narrative.
Exactly. AI algorithms can filter information, prioritize certain viewpoints, and even create echo chambers.
Echo chambers.
Yeah, where people are only exposed to content that reinforces their existing beliefs.
So it's like the internet's becoming this giant echo chamber where everyone's just shouting their own opinions into the void.
And no one's actually listening.
Wow, that's a pretty bleak picture.
Yeah, and the source suggests that this leads to a phenomenon called programmed ignorance.
Programmed ignorance, what's that?
It's where people are essentially conditioned to accept a narrow range of ideas and dismiss anything that challenges the status quo.
So it's like they're being brainwashed by the internet.
In a way, yeah. It's like you're being programmed to be ignorant.
That's terrifying.
It is, right. And it all happens so subtly.
Yeah, we might not even realize it's happening to us.
Right, and by the time we do, it might be too late.
So what can we do? Is there any way to break free from this cycle of manipulation?
Well, the source does offer some hope.
Oh, good.
It argues that the first step is awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah, once we understand how we're being manipulated,
Okay.
we can start to develop strategies for resistance.
So knowledge is power.
Exactly.
But how do we even begin to recognize these manipulative tactics?
Well, the source mentions several things to watch out for.
Okay, like what?
Things like personalized advertising, targeted content, algorithmic filtering,
Okay.
and even the use of emotional triggers.
Emotional triggers.
Yeah, to capture our attention and influence our behavior.
So they're playing with our emotions.
Yeah, it's all very calculated.
Wow, it all feels so overwhelming.
It does, right? It's
Yeah.
like no matter what we do, we're constantly being bombarded with these messages that are designed to manipulate us.
Yeah, it's like we're fighting a losing battle.
But remember, we're not powerless.
We're not.
No, we have more control than we think.
Okay, so what can we do? How do we break free from this cycle of manipulation?
Well, the source offers a few ideas, and we're going to get into those after a quick break.
Sounds good. I'm ready to fight back.
Me too. Let's do this. So before the break, we were talking about how AI could be used to manipulate us.
Yeah, it's pretty scary stuff.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Like, what can we do about it?
Well, one thing the source suggests is being more mindful of the time we spend online
Okay.
and the platforms we choose to use.
So, like, being more intentional about our online activity.
Exactly. Like, we can make a conscious effort to support companies that prioritize ethical data practices and user privacy.
So instead of just automatically using the same old social media platforms.
Right. We can actually choose to use platforms that give us more control over our data.
And that align with our values.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we can also be more proactive in seeking out diverse perspectives.
Diverse perspectives.
Yeah, challenging our own biases,
Yeah.
you know. The source really emphasizes the importance of engaging with viewpoints that make us uncomfortable.
Viewpoints that challenge our preconceived notions.
Exactly, because it's easy to get stuck in our own little echo chambers online.
Right, where we're only exposed to information that reinforces our existing beliefs.
Exactly, and that's not how we grow or learn.
So we need to actively seek out different ideas and perspectives.
Right, even if they make us uncomfortable.
Even if they challenge our worldview.
Exactly, and we can also support organizations that are fighting for a more open and democratic internet.
Oh, are there organizations like that?
Yeah, there are actually quite a few.
Okay.
They're working to promote digital literacy, advocate for net neutrality, and develop ethical guidelines for AI development.
So there are actually people out there trying to counter these negative trends.
Yeah, there's a growing movement of people who are concerned about the direction the internet is heading in.
And they're actively working to create a better digital future.
Exactly.
That's encouraging to hear.
It is, right? It gives me some hope.
Me too. It feels like a lot of responsibility, though.
It is a lot of
Well,
responsibility.
can we really make a difference as individuals?
Well, it's easy to feel powerless when we're up against these giant corporations and powerful algorithms.
Right.
But I think we can make a difference.
How so?
Well, every choice we make, every action we take sends a signal.
A signal.
Yeah, like when we support ethical companies, when we demand greater transparency, when we engage in critical thinking,
Okay.
we're contributing to a collective shift in consciousness.
So it's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly. Our individual actions can have a much wider impact than we realize.
So it's about recognizing our power as consumers and citizens.
Right.
And using that power to shape the kind of digital world we want to live in.
Exactly.
And one thing that really struck me in one of the sources was this idea of a silent war being waged against us in the digital realm.
A silent war.
Yeah, it's like a really powerful metaphor.
Yeah, it is. It really highlights the insidious nature of this manipulation.
Right. It's not always overt or violent,
No, it's often operating beneath the surface
subtly shaping our thoughts and behaviors.
without us even realizing it.
It's like a slow drip of propaganda and misinformation
Eroding our critical thinking skills.
and our ability to make informed decisions.
And the most disturbing part is that we may not even recognize the ways in which we're being manipulated,
We might even think we're making free choices.
when in reality, our decisions are being influenced by forces beyond our control.
That's scary.
It's like we're living in a matrix.
So what are some of these manipulative tactics that we should be aware of?
Well, the source mentions several things to watch out for.
Like what?
Things like personalized advertising,
Yeah.
targeted content algorithmic filtering, and even the use of emotional triggers.
Emotional triggers.
Yeah, like using fear or anger to capture our attention and influence our behavior.
It's like they're playing with our emotions.
They're using our own psychology against us.
It all feels so overwhelming.
It can be disheartening, but remember, we're not powerless.
So what can we do? How do we break free from this cycle of manipulation?
Well, this source offers a few ideas.
Okay, like what?
One suggestion is to be more mindful of the time we spend online and the platforms we choose to use.
Okay.
We can make a conscious effort to support companies and organizations that prioritize ethical data practices and user privacy.
So like choosing to use a search engine that doesn't track our every move.
Exactly, or a social media platform that gives you more control over your data.
Right.
We can also be more proactive in seeking out diverse perspectives and challenging our own biases.
So basically, we need to be more critical of the information we consume online.
Exactly. Question your sources, seek out different viewpoints. Don't just passively accept what's being fed to you.
And be wary of anything that triggers strong emotional responses.
Especially fear and anger.
Because those emotions can cloud our judgment and make us more susceptible to manipulation.
Exactly.
It's like we need to develop a kind of digital literacy.
Digital literacy.
Yeah, like a set of skills for navigating the online world safely and critically.
I think that's a great way to put it.
We need to become more discerning consumers of information.
More aware of the forces at play.
And more proactive in shaping our own online experiences.
Exactly.
But how do we do that when these algorithms are so sophisticated and constantly adapting to our behavior?
It's true, it's a constant battle, but remember, we're not just passive consumers of information. We can choose to limit our exposure to manipulative tactics.
Like how?
We can support platforms and organizations that align with our values.
Okay.
We can demand greater transparency and accountability from those in control of these technologies.
So it's about taking back control of our digital lives.
Exactly.
Choosing how we engage with the internet instead of letting it control us.
Right. It's about recognizing that we have agency, that we're not helpless pawns in some digital game.
We can make choices that shape the online world we want to live in.
That's a powerful idea.
It is, but it also feels like a huge responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility, but it's one we all share.
Right.
We can't just sit back and let these technologies shape our lives without our input.
We need to be active participants.
Demanding better from the companies and institutions that control so much of our digital existence.
You know, one thing that keeps coming up in these sources is this idea that the internet, which was once seen as this symbol of freedom and connection, is becoming increasingly centralized.
That's a really important point. And it's a trend that's worth paying attention to.
Because as more and more of our lives move online, the stakes become even higher.
Absolutely. The question of who controls the internet becomes a question of who controls the flow of information, commerce, even social interaction.
Which is why it's so important to support initiatives that promote digital privacy, net neutrality, open access.
I completely agree.
We need to fight to keep the internet open and accessible to everyone.
Not just a select few.
Right? It needs to be a truly democratic space.
Exactly.
And that's going to take a collective effort.
It's going to take all of us working together to push back against these trends and create a more equitable and just digital future.
But I think it's a fight worth having.
I agree. It's a fight for the future of the internet.
And for the future of our freedom.
Exactly. It is, right. It's about reclaiming the internet as a tool for connection, for empowerment, for positive change.
And that might not be easy.
It might not be, but it's a fight worth having.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. It's been a pretty intense deep dive.
It has, but I feel like I have a much better understanding of the challenges we're facing online.
Me too. And it's important to acknowledge these challenges so we can start to address them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So to everyone listening out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
We hope it sparked some critical thinking.
And maybe even inspired you to take some action.
Remember, you're not alone in this.
There are so many people and organizations out there working to create a more just and equitable digital future.
Your voice matters.
Your choices matter.
So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
We're all in this together.
Thanks for listening, everyone.